Hey, what's up, you guys? It's IAmTheLionRider, and as the title of this video indicates, we are getting animal talks added to Planet Zoo finally. So this is going to be a brand new free update that should be coming out, it says at the bottom of the post, over the next few weeks. So if I were to estimate, we're probably looking at maybe the second week of December, so around like December 15th roughly, would be my guess for the update. But without further ado, let's just kind of go into what this update has to share with us. So basically, in the update, we are finally getting educators added to the game. So this was a feature that was highlighted way back in the announcement video of Planet Zoo, and it basically just had a little guy, talking in front of some elephants. And so, even though the design of the educator has changed, obviously, we are finally getting them added. And I think this update might be one of my favorites added to the game in general. They easily could have kind of treated this like the educators are going to be glorified billboards that just, give an education boost, but I think they went all out with it, and I think that's great. So, what this shows is that the educators are going to be a new staff type added to the game, and this is going to be the newest, or the first new staff added to the game since the launch. So in addition, basically there's going to be a whole new slew of management features for the people who like franchise and career mode and stuff. You have to basically schedule entire talks and where you're going to place the talking points and that sort of thing. And so I think it's going to be a really in-depth feature that, the management side of people like to play with. But let's say you're like me and you like to play in sandbox the majority of the time, you're also going to get a treat with this, because basically the staff members and the animals are going to interact with each other. So say one of the staff members is hosting, in this case, the giant panda talk. The pandas might be like seeing a crowd forming around this host and stuff, and then wander over to the glass and see, hey, what up? What's going on? And then it even mentions that the staff members are going to be able to feed the animals occasionally by throwing food over the fence. Now, this is kind of similar to a feature that was in Frontier's older game, Zoo Tycoon 3. So keepers were literally able to feed the animals. So you were able to have an elephant and feed it an apple or something of that nature. And so, while I'm not sure if the educators are going to be able to hand feed animals, I think even just throwing food over the fence and having the animals eat it would be great. Now, again, this could be reaching, but it might be nice if animals had individual animations for catching the food. So as an example, using that elephant, maybe, you don't hand the apple to the elephant and it grabs it with its trunk, but maybe you throw it over the fence and it catches it with its trunk and then eats it. Or you throw a piece of fruit over the fence and a hippo catches it in its mouth and then, chomps on it or something. I think that'd be a super cool feature. And they do mention at the end there is more to come with this update. And cough, cough, we know from the leaks from a video that I did recently, we are getting aquatic animals like seals and penguins and stuff. And so maybe even sea lions. And for anyone who's been to aquariums or zoos with these creatures, it's not uncommon to see a keeper feeding a seal a piece of fish and having a little bucket of fish and then throwing a piece of fish and the seal catches it in its mouth. And so I think that's what this kind of idea might have, inspired that. And so I think that'd be a super cool feature. Again, I don't think I want to say explicitly that we're going to get these custom animations. I think it's just as likely, they throw the food over the fence and then it just spawns a piece of food and then they eat it off the ground. But I think either way, interaction between the educators and the animals is great. Now, this is totally into speculation/suggestion territory, but I do want to address it, and that is the potential for expanding on this feature in the future. Now that we have this new educator staff type, I think the next logical step would be to have kind of ambassador animals. And I think this would be a great feature because it would kind of give us a way, and Frontier an excuse to include animals that aren't necessarily able to be provided in the game using the current habitat or exhibit animal system. So stuff like birds, like parrots and eagles, Animals like sloths that really don't move around a lot, and so they would just kind of hang out on a pole or something of that nature. Large snakes, so stuff like anacondas and Burmese pythons, snakes that are just too big to physically fit inside of a exhibit box, but kind of too small to be in a habitat. Um, I think these would be kind of great examples of animals that could fit an ambassador animal role, and you just see a keeper, kind of like once again in Zoo Tycoon 3, that has a animal and they're just discussing it, and then it plays a little looped animation of them interacting with that animal. I think that would be a great feature, and I would love to see it expanded upon in the future. So the last thing I wanted to address is there's kind of a lot of like conspiracy theories about how this owl on the educator podium kind of obviously is an owl, and we don't have owls in the game. And so I kind of want to like temper expectations, because I think that people are reading too much into it and saying that we're definitely getting birds added to the game now. I think the owl is just kind of a sign of like wisdom. It's kind of like even like an eye for like like an education sign or information sign. So I would just assume that this is more or less just a symbol and not to read too far into it or anything. But yeah, so that's all I really have to go over. Again, we should be seeing more updates and future features, revealed over the next few weeks. They highlight that. I'm going to be posting this forum post in my comment section, so you can check it out and read it for yourself. But yeah, past that, I want to wish a happy Thanksgiving to all of my Americans out there, and for the rest of the world, have a nice happy Thursday, and I'm really excited. So stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next video, guys.